Complaints that could improve the overall experience, this is about as simple as it gets. Why is there no option to disable the tutorial pop-ups? I actually quite like that they exist in the first place. The cryptic message system from Souls just wouldn't make sense here. They want you to know exactly how everything works from the get-go so that you aren't confused. That's fine with me because the game was plenty challenging even with the forced guidance. What I have a problem with is that there's no option to remove them for those who want to unless you're on PC and download a mod. Even worse, on subsequent playthroughs, you're forced to go through every single tip again. It's rapidly apparent how much these tips break the flow of gameplay early on, all the more noticeable when they aren't needed. This all could have been alleviated with a simple option to turn them off in the menus. Please patch this in, FromSoft. There is legitimately no reason for this not to exist in a modern game. Hate number 7, limited sound control. Combined with both of those complaints and minor but very fixable issues that can improve the overall experience, let's talk about the death blow sound effect. It's fucking loud. I get it, it's meant to have a harsh weight to it. It gives the player a sense of immense gravity of a killing blow. And it does, because when you kill nearly everything in the game with one of these, holy shit do my ears get boomed! Again, simple fix. Add more in-depth customization for sound more than music, voice, and sound effects. Why not break down and list out multiple sound effects and mix the volume to the desired standard? If you could turn down the sounds of a death blow, I probably wouldn't grow tired of it at all. Maybe for you, the frequent clashing of swords is grinding your gears. A simple slider allows you to turn that down. Wonderful. Even further, maybe if you could control the difference in sounds between sword attacks that are blocked by your opponent and those that are deflected, players who are less of visual learners and more auditory learners could make the deflection sound louder to help them train with the game. These are just a few basic examples of how great the sound control can be for a more customized experience without great effort or sacrificing anyone else's ideal experience. Yet again, FromSoft, I want patches. Hate number 8, a regression in storytelling. Let me make my personal stance on FromSoft's modern storytelling very clear. I believe their ability to tell a story through NPC interactions, world building, epic encounters, and many treasures found throughout your journey is brilliant and adds a layer of feel back while still leaving enough room for interpretation that allows the community to speculate wildly for fun. It's very unlike the unapologetically forward storytelling of a game like God of War, for example. Sure, there are tidbits of lore to get in that game, won't miss out on any major points because the meat of the narrative is driven by cutscenes and gameplay sequences that you can't miss. Another example is The Last of Us. In contrast to both Sekiro and God of War, almost the entire experience is presented directly to you. There are exceptions and collectibles that have worthwhile stories that make the world feel more alive, but everything crucial will be experienced by anyone who plays the game. I make these comparisons to say that there's a varied meter between cinematic storytelling and storytelling through optional interactions.
Hello. What's going on? What is SEKIRO? Yeah, the game is called SEKIRO, yeah. Indeed. Yeah, some rude fuck has decided to call me whilst I'm streaming. How dare they? Yeah, I'm just grinding right now. I'll be fighting a boss again soon. Hi, see you in a bit. What a pansy boy, am I right, stream?
Interaction with the world. The Souls series always erred heavily toward having its cinematic moments be interesting breadcrumbs that would encourage you to have answers from the world as to what it all means. Sekiro changes this by forcing a greater level of interaction through heavier cutscene dialogue and loads of mandatory NPC conversations. It's a subtle but noticeable measure that in my mind weakens the overall presentation. Let me make another comparison, in this case to Dark Souls. It's entirely possible to make it through that game learning minimal details about the story. You speak with Oscar in the asylum and he tells you to escape in his stead and ring the bells of awakening to uncover your destiny. Even then, that conversation isn't mandatory. You can just kill him and skip it, which no one can blame you for with demons and hollows around every corner spooking you. Outside of that, if you ignore other NPCs, you can make it all the way to Inner Londo with no additional context. From there, you get told to kill the lords and fill the vessel so you can link the flame. Again, you have the opportunity to speak read item descriptions, etc. to learn more as to why, or you can just be a tool of death and silence and win without really knowing anything. The vague delivery makes most players yearn for more knowledge about Lordran, and through that naturally encourages you to interact with the world. Sekiro, the basic is given to you on a platter. After the option to claim the land as their own, you join a great shinobi to become his apprentice. He trains you and puts you in the service of a lord that turns out to be special thanks to his heritage. His dragon blood is given to you, and this allows him immortality. Yasha's position thanks to Ishi's illness at his old age, prompting enemy clans to swarm their land. As a last-ditch effort, Genichiro wants to use Sekiro's young lord to create an immortal army to save his land. But you stop him and save your lord, spending tons of time in forced dialogue, talking about how to set up mortality, travel lands, gathering the necessary materials, and get into conflict with your father after it turns out he wants to use the lord's blood too. Get him out of the way, claim the last materials, then you face off against Genichiro one last time that ends with a twist of taking on Prime. The core of this story is all presented directly to you, and it's not that the story is weak. I actually quite enjoy the story in this game, but since they decided to give you the meat of it for free, there is less motivation to explore the nuances that are hidden behind sake-fueled NPC interactions. It felt like a half measure to make the story more digestible for a wider audience, which is a market that I belong to. Because admittedly, I heavily favor cinematic storytelling, but I also respect why these games work so much better without it. Of course, it isn't all black and white. As I mentioned, both God of War and The Last of Us, some of my favorite games of all time, have elements of indirect storytelling with their heartbreak cutscenes, and it works really well there. You can certainly toe the line, but does Sekiro actually do a good job of that? Honestly, I think it's a much bigger topic that can be discussed in a single bullet point here. There's so many different things to dig into. Does the narrative deliver itself effectively? Are there too few notable NPCs outside of the core of Kuro, Emma, and Ishin? Are the characters like the sculptor underutilized? If you want